Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Sportsmemo's Pro Football Forecast. My friends, we come to you every Friday during the NFL campaign, bringing you tons of free winners, amazing betting insights, and a few laughs, too, from some of Sportsmemo's documented leaderboard fixtures. So grab that helmet, lace up those cleats, get ready to make some money in pro football this weekend because we have an amazing show for you today. Let's bring this panel on. Guys, what a great panel. I love these guys. We got Dan Kaiser, Rocky Atkinson, and Dr. Chuck. Let me just go right around the horn. Dan Kaiser, good afternoon. How are you today?
Doing good. Happy to be on the NFL show for once.
Happy to have you, buddy. Guys, very rare do we get Rocky on an late afternoon Friday show. He's got to be on the move. He's wanted by the FBI for killing bookmakers. The Southern Assassin. Rocky, how are you today?
Hey, Joe. Doing good, man. Hope you're doing good, too.
I'm always doing well when I'm sharing a panel with you, Rocky. Rocky and I have been friends for decades, and I love doing a panel with him. And then, guys, we're very lucky. Normally on Friday afternoons, doctors are where on the golf course. But this Friday afternoon, we got the best doctor of sports betting. Make it a house call. Dr. Chuck, how are you today, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, Dan, I love it. I'm glad to be on the NFL show for once. Yeah, so I'm ready to kill it. Yeah.
Let's kill it, guys. What a panel. Before we get into today's roundtable games and our best bet segment, couple of quickies, and I love an afternoon quickie, especially Friday afternoon. Sets the tone for the weekend. Couple of announcements. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of our sports betting content here at Sportsmemo TV. Now, I say it every show because it is true. The customer appreciation at Sportsmemo is unrivaled. We know that saving you money just as good as making you money. Couple of things you want to tell you about. First of all, here at Sportsmemo, 2 of our $2 Tuesday featured cappers, they still have their 5% plays available. Our own Dr. Chuck and the First Lady of Las Vegas, Dion D'Amico, both of their $2 Tuesday plays are still available over at Sportsmemo. And over at Wager Talk, our good buddy Jimmy Adams, he's got a 5% play that's still available after the show. Hit Jimmy over at Wager Talk. All 3 big winning cappers, 5 unit plays, $2 a piece. You can't beat that with a bat. I know it's a football show, but that's a baseball reference. Today's World Series. Guys, we have a couple of other discounts we want to tell you about. This one blew my mind. Every time I think that Sportsmemo can't take it up a notch, they surprise me. A new discount, 31% off any all-access package. 1 day, 3 day, 7 day, 30 day, 90 day, a 1-year package. I can't believe this. It astounds me. Boo 31 upon checkout. I just want you to know, just so you know, though, this is good for 1 purchase at Sportsmemo and 1 at Wager Talk. So, my personal suggestion, don't use it on a 1-day package. Don't use it on a 3-day. Use it on something like a 30, a 90, or a year because it really will pay off in dividends. Also, guys, I'm going to toot my own horn. We have the best support staff on the planet here at Sportsmemo. I got to tell you, no matter how much talent your team has, without a good manager, without a good front office, you can't win ball games, and that's why we're the best website on the planet. Because I'm number 1 over at Sportsmemo and NBA, our good Detroit staff, our great Detroit staff, gave me this today real quick. Follow Joe D for either 30 days or the season, 50% off, NBA 50. Guys, it is a great, great discount. Enough of tooting to my own horn. You know how humble I am. I hate to brag. Guys, go over to www.sportsmemo.com after the show. Take advantage of the amazing discounts we currently have offered. Plus, make sure to check out our deals page each and every day. The deals page surprises even us, our handicappers. Sometimes we don't know we have a special up there. Now, guys, I want you to know before we get into our big free roundtable games and our best bets, I want you to know every successful sports bettor and sports handicapper I know use the Gold Sheet, the oldest and most respected of all the betting publications. After the show, www.goldsheet.com. Use what the pros use. Before we get into our free plays, here's a couple of pro football line movements moved by the wise guys here in Southern Nevada from my favorite sports book in the world, the Superbook at the Westgate. Now, we talk each week that the general public, injuries, weather conditions, all have a bearing on lines moving through the week. But these 2 specific line movements were moved by the wise guys here in Southern Nevada, and we wanted to make you aware of them. The Texans went from 4 down to 2.5. The wise guys all over Houston, or what we say up in New York, Houston. And the Niners went from plus 2.5, believe it or not, to minus 1.5. The smart money's all over San Fran. Without any further ado, we've got 3 amazing roundtable games. So let's get into the first one between 2 NFC teams. The visitor, 3 and 4 straight up. but it's covered 3 of their last 4. The home team riding a 4-game straight-up hot streak, but riding a 1-4 ATS slide. We're talking Cardinals, Vikings, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Minnesota currently 3.5, 49. Let's go to the Southern Assassin. Rocky Atkinson, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, Arizona comes in 7-2 straight up, 8-1 against the spread the last 3 years as an underdog of 3.5 to 9.5 points. Arizona 6-0 straight up and against the spread the last 3 years as a road underdog of 3.5 to 7 points. Arizona's played better away from home as they're 2-1 straight up on the road this season. Arizona's 28-2 against the spread the last 30 road games. Minnesota 1-4 against spread last 5 games after a bye week. Minnesota 1-4 against spread last 5 games after a straight up win. Minnesota's 2-8 against spread last 10 games against a team with a losing record. And Minnesota's 0-4 against spread last 4 games against NFC opponents. The underdog 7-2 against the spread the last 11 meetings in this series. I'm thinking Arizona's going to pull the upset here. Recommend a small play on Arizona on Sunday. Joe. No,
Sorry, guys. See, I muted myself, guys. I got to tell you, my voice annoys even me. Guys, Rocky Atkinson says, take the Cardinals. By the way, just a quick reminder, last year documented NFL, Rocky, 70%. And that wasn't the first time it was documented 70% in the season. Guys, he says the Cardinals, recommends a small play on them. We're going to go to the doctor, who could be on the golf course Friday afternoon, but he'd rather spend this afternoon giving you some free winners. Dr. Chuck, Cardinals, Vikings, Minnesota, 3.5, 49. Take it away.
Yeah, talk about this is a tricky line, and you could easily go either way. Rocky brought up a couple of things that are tricky. Cliff Kingsbury as a road dog outside the division, 10-1 ATS. They've won 8 of those 11 games. This is not. Joe brought it up in the analysis in the pre-analysis there. This is not the Mike Zimmer spread Vegas book crushing purple people eaters anymore. That Mike Zimmer, anyway you slice it, was pretty much 60% ATS as a floor, and he isn't that anymore. Well, he isn't the coach any longer, and the Vikings are winning and they look better, and they're a division contending team. I don't think anyone could have imagined that they would have this kind of hold on the division at this point, with the Packers coming up on a Sunday night game where Aaron Rodgers is a nasty monster dog. They just need to take care of business, beat the Cardinals coming to town, and get an unbelievable stranglehold on this division, assuming the Bills take care of business. I don't think so either. If you told me I had to take a play in the game on the spread, I'd be taking the 3.5 points. Cardinals have extra rest. They maybe, obviously Kirk Cousins has the ability to make some mistakes. Andy Dalton gave them all kinds of points last Thursday, and the Saints aren't all that great shakes either. And to give up 34 points to the Saints when you didn't even score that many points on offense is not that great. But we got to remember, Cliff Kingsbury's playing for his job here, folks. I mean, he is. Maybe Ron Rivera's ahead of him. I doubt a lot of outs have him ahead of Cliff Kingsbury at this point, as to the next coach to be fired. And so every game is for his job. Kyler Murray always has the ability to get a last-second win, even if it's not as dramatic as that catch with Hopkins. You give me 3.5 points, there's no way I'm laying it with the Vikings here, even if I do expect the Vikings to probably win at the end of this. But yeah, I mean, the numbers all point to take the red, extra rest, 10-1, probably go to 11-1 against the spread, even if it's like an overtime 3-point loss.
Great stuff from my friend Dr. Chuck, who went old school, quoting Run DMC, going, "It's tricky, rock around the clock. It's tricky. Tricky, guys. I'm showing my age here. Guys, Dr. Chuck went old school, says the Cardinals plus the 3.5. It's the way to go. Great minds think alike. Both Rocky and Dr. Chuck agree in the first round. Take the Cardinals plus that 3.5. Guys, don't go anywhere. 2 more roundtable games, and then our best bet segment. Our second roundtable game, NFC West showdown. 2 teams that were highly touted in the preseason, but right now are sitting at a combined 6-7 straight up. However, The 49ers have covered 6 straight meetings. We're talking San Fran at LA, Sunday, 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. San Francisco, 1.5. Total 42.5. Let's go to Dan the Man Kaiser. Dan, take it away.
Yeah, when I was looking at this game, you look back at how the Rams won the Super Bowl last year. They weren't in the Super Bowl not too long ago with Jared Goff as a quarterback, and then you see that the 49ers have won 7 consecutive regular season meetings between these two teams. It just seems like San Francisco, for whatever reason, has Sean McVay's number, and San Francisco won out. They made a big move. They went out and got Christian McCaffrey, and San Francisco is a little bit unique in the fact that now they got Christian McCaffrey that can run the ball well out of the backfield, but also catch the ball. And then they got Deebo Samuel, who actually might not play in this game, but he's great wide receiver that can run the ball. So they've got threats. They got threats all over the field. But the only problem with San Francisco is they have Jimmy Garoppolo as their quarterback, and he doesn't give still a lot of faith in winning the big game. And then you look at this Rams team; they've just been consistent all season after the Super Bowl win. I think kind of that has a lot to do with their poor offensive line play, and being a Detroit native, you see that when there's a poor offensive line play, Stafford sometimes plays a poor quarterback. They do get their center Brian Allen back after missing 5 games, which should help that offensive line. But one of their big problems is they can't run the ball. And I'm not sure if Allen's going to make that big a difference in running and giving them a running game. I just look at these things right now. I just like, San Francisco, as I said, they have McVay's number, and I don't see it changing much if just the way the 49ers offensive line is playing. It's only 1.5. You can lay the 1.5. I'd probably just take San Francisco on the money line.
Guys, Dan Kaiser, who, by the way, over at Sportsmemo last 30 days NFL, #1 capper, says San Fran, he likes them to continue their dominance in this series, but minus the 1.5, he's going to err on the side of caution, go money line. Great stuff from Dan Kaiser. Guys, let's go to the Southern Assassin. He's on the run. He's killing bookmakers down south. Rocky Atkinson. Rocky, San Fran, 1.5, 42.5. Take it away.
Yeah, I have to agree with Dan here. I like the 49ers in this one. Like you said, smart money's coming in on the Niners in this one. The Rams, they're scoring only 14.3 points per game the past 3 games overall, while the 49ers are scoring 24.7 points per game their past 3 games overall. The Rams are 4-9 against the spread last 13 games against a team with a losing record. The Rams are 2-5 against the spread last 7 games after a straight-up win. San Francisco's 2-0 straight up in division play this year. They're beating opponents by an average score of 25.5 to 8. San Francisco 8-2 against the spread last 10 games after a straight up loss of more than 14 points. San Fran 5-1 straight up, 6-0 against the spread overall versus the Rams the past 3 years. I feel like San Fran is the better team here, and I'm gonna recommend playing them. I'm going to say lay the points, but Dan did bring up a good point there. If the money line is not too high, it might be better to take the money line in this game.
My good friend, Rocky Atkinson, killing it last year, 70% in the NFL documented, says he likes it minus the 1.5, but if the money line isn't too high, maybe go money line there. Great stuff by Rocky. By the way, guys, those graphics and stocks courtesy of our good friends over at the Gold Sheet, the oldest and most respected of all the betting publications on the planet. After the show, www.goldsheet.com. Don't go anywhere. We have another roundtable game, then our best bet segment, and then maybe we're going to get Dan, Dr. Chuck, Rocky, and myself to run into a rendition of It's Tricky at the end of the show to light it up.
Nice.
Our third roundtable game, a matchup of future Hall of Fame quarterback who seems to be fading a bit right now, and a young quarterback, the most exciting in football. Packers losers of last 3 straight up, 4 in a row ATS. How about the Bills? 5-0-1 ATS the last 6 at home, and 10-1-2 ATS the last 13 versus teams with a losing record. Packers, Bills, Sunday night late bailout, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Buffalo, 11-47. The doctor is in. Dr. Chuck, the operating room is all yours.
You've brought this up before. Everything's a bailout now, right? You can bail out in every way nowadays. You don't have to sweat those 4:00 games and then bail out at 8. I did you mention I don't know if I missed if you mentioned that I don't think Rodgers has been this big of a dog before, right? I'm pretty sure the Packers with him as a starting quarterback, this is it. And I just don't. I'm excited to hear what both of these two say. And for the record, clients already know that I have the Niners money line. I think it's a complete disgusting line. I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. Dan brought it up that Debo is probably out. The Niners are still moving to a favorite, and so it's just, if you're taking the Rams, God help you. But I'm a pretty big Bills believer with the Bills' future. And they've got a couple of wins they shouldn't have gotten. And then they also probably have that one loss they probably shouldn't have had either. The Packers I mentioned in my Vikings talk. This is, I don't know what Packers fans were supposed to expect when Aaron Rodgers did his little Jeopardy game. Am I sticking around, or do I want to play for Denver, or do I want to retire type talk? And then they traded Devontae Adams away. And he didn't seem to bat an eye. Now Lazard might miss this game. Obviously, everybody knows they let Valdez-Scantling go. Everybody focuses on things to do with Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon, which are both guys coming out of the backfield that are not going to help you against this Josh Allen offense that is a juggernaut. They've not missed a step without Brian Daboll, which is a whole nother ballgame with what the Giants look like. And I think that is a boon to this as well. I think the line's pretty tight, actually. I thought this would be more than a touchdown, which is kind of ridiculous, but the things have not gone well since the second half of that London game. And I can't find any way to take all these points, which is awful because I love dogs. I could make a living just betting dogs in the NFL. And I think it could be lucrative. 11 points with a first ballot, probably 100% Hall of Famer that Tom Brady every day is making look like he is the best quarterback on earth. I still can't figure out a way to take it. So I'm excited to see if Dan can swallow these points. I can't imagine that anybody is laying this, but I'm excited to hear what he thinks. If I had to take a side, I think the total's low because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to go down with a whimper like he has. And I think the Bills defense is a little more suspect. Lamar Jackson was able to exploit some of that no matter what they've looked like on the whole. Their numbers are amazing. Their DVOA is amazing on both aspects, but this is still Aaron Rodgers. And so you're telling me at 28-21, I cover on an over. I would take that every day.
My friend, guys, he writes better than Dr. Seuss, has better hair than Dr. J, and he's killed more bookmakers than Dr. Kevorkian. I love him. You love him. Dr. Chuck says if he has to take this game, maybe the over looks a little low. Guys, his analysis and breakdown about the best I've ever said, and I've ever seen, and he does this without a net. No notes. I got more notes than, I don't know, Maury Povich, guys. I got to tell you, great stuff from Dr. Chuck. Maybe the over. We are all hanging on pins and needles. We want to see what Dan Kaiser's got to say about the game. Is he going to lay it? A lot of points. Is he going to take it? Is it too many points? Dan Kaiser, Bills 11-47. Take it away.
Yeah, I guess if people are tuning in for this game to get a lot of stats and stuff from me and Dr. Chuck, I think they're going to be sadly disappointed because I usually count on Dr. Chuck to like lay down, the meat, and I can just come in with a little bit of sizzle. But I look at this game. Is there a worse word than disappointing? To describe the Packers season at this point. And I guess maybe those words could be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but that's another story for a different time. Yeah, the Packers are 3-4. They've lost 3 straight, and they haven't even looked good in losing those 3 games. Yeah, as you said, the Bills are 5-1. They've won 3 straight. But I'm looking at this Packers team. I mean, they lost to the Commanders. They didn't convert a 3rd down, and to be honest, I don't know, what they're doing with this offense. They have a great rushing attack. Or they usually have a great rushing attack, but I think they've gone, the Matt Nagy route from the Bears, and they just refuse to use it now. And and I'm Rodgers, I don't know, I don't get this guy anymore. I don't know, if he's still doing the psychedelics that he did in the off season. Maybe he should start. But I'm just getting tired of listening to him. He says the team should start doing more, and they need to get together. Well, he had the whole offseason to get used to these wide receivers that he knew that were going to be new, and he did nothing. And so a lot of this I feel is on him. And what are you going to say about the Bills? They come out there 5-1. They've got every advantage in this game, coming off a bye week. They don't have to travel. They're a better team. Their defense is outstanding. They're playing this Packers teams in disarray. And everything says Bills, Bills, Bills. But it is Aaron Rodgers, and I think if he's got any sense of anything about him, he's got to feel a little bit disrespected coming into this game being 11-point underdog. And if the Packers are going to do anything this season, I'm not saying they have to win this game, but at least they have to stand up and show something. So it's hard to say, but I'm going to take the Packers in the 11 in this one, and I think that the Green Bay defense will stand up, and all it takes is a garbage touchdown by Rodgers at the end of the game to maybe cover this one. So I'm going to take the plus 11. I think it's a little high for this game.
My good
that
buddy,
door's open.
My buddy Dan Kaiser says plus 11. Guys, let me run down the picks for the 3 round table games in the first round. Cardinals, Vikings. Rocky said small lean on the Cardinals. Dr. Chuck says Cardinals with that 3.5 for sure. And the second round table game, 49ers, Rams. Dan said 49ers money line. Rocky said 49ers money line. He says he likes the points a little bit, but if the money line isn't too high, he likes the money line. Dr. Chuck chimed in because we love when Dr. Chuck chimed in. He says he likes the 49ers money line. Our third round table game, Packers, Bills. Dr. Chuck says maybe the over. Dan says the Packers plus the 11. It's funny, guys. It's a game like this, Dan, Rocky, Chuck, that no one in the world gives the Packers a chance. It's even tough that they're going to cover, that they can't win. That this is one of those games that some guy in a sports will put a dime on the money line, and they'll win it outright and surprise the whole world where Buffalo's in for a letdown here. I'm not saying it's going to happen, guys. Don't go out and say, well, Joey told me to put $1,000 on the game on the money line and lost 42-0. Don't get me in that trouble. But this is one of those situations where everything we're reading, everything we're seeing says Buffalo's going to beat this game and possibly kill them. But this is one of those situations, hey, Buffalo's been playing over here the whole season. Maybe it's about time to have a letdown. That's all I'm saying. Guys, 3 round table games in the rear view. We have our best bet segment. So don't go anywhere. It's the most exciting portion of the show. Once again, those great graphics and stats, courtesy of our good friends over at the Gold Sheet, the best betting publication on the planet. Our first capper that's going to be featured on the best bet segment. Guys, if you hit 55, 56, 57, 58% for a season in this business, you'll probably be the top capper in that sport for that season. Well, Rocky Atkinson last year in the NFL, 70%, the white whale. Guess what, guys? Not the first time he's done that in the NFL. He's one of the best cappers in the history of this business. Year in, year out, season in, season out, sport in, sport out. You see his name at or atop the leaderboards. He is wanted down south for killing bookmakers. He's going to tell you what he's been doing, what he's going to be doing on the premium side, and he's got another free best bet for you. Rocky, the floor is yours, buddy.
Joe, 70% last year with all my NFL picks. That was a pretty good year. This year, NFL regular season, 88% winners so far this year. I do have 2 NFL plays going for early Sunday up right now at sportsmemo.com. So go ahead and grab those. I also have a couple college football plays as well up for Saturday. And I'm up again in college football. Hit 61% regular season last year. Looking for another winning weekend. So be sure to join me there. I'm looking at the Chicago Bears at the Dallas Cowboys. Here's my show best bet. Taking Dallas minus 2 points here. Chicago had a win last week, 33-14 over New England. Dallas beat Detroit 24-6. Both teams forced a lot of turnovers. Dallas 5-1 straight up and against the spread when playing on turf this year. Dallas 3-1 straight up at home this year. This Dallas defense is very good. They've been solid, allowing only 14.9 points per game overall, 13 points per game at home this season. Dallas is 4-0 against spread last 4 home games against a team with a losing road record. Dallas 11-1 against the spread the last 12 games against teams with a losing record. Dallas 17-5 against the spread last 22 games against NFC opponents. Chicago 1-3 straight up on the road this season. They're 2-5 against the spread the last 7 road games. They're 3-8 against the spread the last 11 games after a straight up win. They're 6-17 against the spread last 23 games against NFC opponents, and they're 2-11 against spread last 13 road games against a team with a winning home record. This Dallas defense is where it's at right now, and I'm going to recommend playing Dallas minus the points as my best bet for the show this week.
Rocky Atkinson says take the Cowboys. Their defense. The Doomsday defense is back. Lay the points with Dallas. Great stuff from Rocky. You know, guys, we always talk about Rocky, his hitting the 70% last year in the NFL and doing it before. Right now, this season, NFL plays 88%, but it just doesn't stop there. Yeah, he's great in the NFL. Yeah, he's great in college. It doesn't matter if it's the hardwood. If it doesn't matter if it's on the diamond. It doesn't matter if it's on the gridiron. Rocky Atkinson's a perennial leaderboard fixture at Sportsmemo. He's been doing this for decades. I know he looks like he's a teenager, but he's been doing it for decades. He's a winner. This is an ideal time to follow Rocky for that Booth 31, that coupon code where you get 31% off. I'm going to tell you, follow him for a year. But if you can't, follow him for 30 days. You're going to get multiple sports from him each and every day. He's going to bring you all the way to the bank. Guys, he is a winner. Follow him. My good friend, Dr. Chuck, Dr. Chuck and I do a lot of shows together here at Sportsmemo TV, and we have a lot of fun. And, every time I open my big mouth, and I open it up a lot, Dr. Chuck just grins and smiles, and he shakes his head. Dr. Chuck is one of the sharpest minds in sports betting. I've worked with everybody over the last 25 years in this business. I've worked with the best. I've worked with the icons. I've seen guys come and go. I have never seen anybody with the insight, the betting, the intelligence and the savvy as Dr. Chuck. Now, guys, I will tell you this. Every morning I get up because I'm an egotistical SOB. I want to go see if my name is on the leaderboard at Sports Memo. And I want you to know what I see every day on Sports Memo's leaderboard? Dr. Chuck, Dr. Chuck, Dr. Chuck. 3 day, 7 day, 30 day. He's got this, he's got that, he's got the other thing. And I'll tell you this. He's so good in so many of the mainstream sports, but it's other sports too, that when you follow him for a 3, a 7, a 30-day package, you're going to get tennis. I personally have bet 13 of his tennis releases and have gone 13-0. No BS. I'll show you the tickets because I copied them just in case somebody says, you're full of bunk. I'm going to tell you right now, he is one of the best I've ever seen. He's one of the sharpest minds in sports betting. He's also got a $2 5% play still available in Sports Memo. He's going to tell you what he's been doing. He's going to tell you what he's going to be doing. He's got another free best bet. The doctor's making a house call. Dr. Chuck, the floor is yours.
Am I supposed to talk after that, Joe? I mean, goodness. All right. So, yeah, we do have our 5%, our first NFL 5% play of the year is up. It is not a game that we talked about. I'll give you a hint as far as that goes. It's not a game we've talked about. We have tennis all day, every day. I harp on this constantly, that tennis never stops. It's a 365, 52 week a year sport. And the finals are coming up. ATP and WTA finals are next month, the top 8 in each. So there will be a lot of opportunity there. We are off of a football sweep. So we almost could have donned the Mr. Perfect leotard if only we had gotten one in our size that I could have put on and shown off to you guys with our college football. But yesterday we went 3-0, could have been 4-0, depending upon where you wanted to play that suck up total. I recommended that suck up was going to score the most points for the Bucks, and he put up 10. Today, I gave you a couple of plays. I gave away that the Niners are already a client play. It makes no sense. There's nothing about these Rams that I buy. The Rams were in the news more because of Kanye West this week than they were because of football. And so I just can't imagine. I have a couple other plays in games that we put up. I have a play in the Bills-Packers Sunday night game as well, even if it's not on the side of total. And I don't have to talk a lot about this game. It's the Raiders. They're going to visit New Orleans. For whatever reason, Dennis Allen has announced that Andy Dalton, Andy Dalton is a good dude. He's a great guy. He was good for the Bengals for a long time. And he's been announced that he's going to continue to be the starter even as Jameis Winston is healthy. Well, we talked about a little bit in the Cardinals. Maybe Andy Dalton isn't the guy that can exploit a really porous secondary like the Raiders. The Raiders are 2-4. I know that Joe and Dion have been to multiple games. Maybe they'll be going to a game soon. I doubt they're going to the Superdome in New Orleans, but they're 2-4. Well, they're a plus 13 point differential. The Giants are 6-1. They're a plus 17 point differential. I mean, the Raiders have had bad luck. And yes, some of it has been due to bad defense. But the Saints are never healthy. They never quite know what to do with how they're going to run Taysom Hill in that offense. Andy Dalton is the starter. Derek Carr is angry. Devontae Adams is a constant target in the way that Mike Evans is. And you're telling me that this team is a pick'em against the Saints, which basically means if the Saints were to come to town, we're flipping this. The Raiders are barely going to be 4-point favorites. I would fade that every day. I think the Raiders win this from jump, and I would even play the first half and full game line. You can play the money line. You could lay 1. You could lay 1.5. It's up to you, but I think this is a pretty easy get right game for the Raiders, especially on offense with a few defensive stops. And Josh Jacobs has been a monster.
Great stuff, Dr. Chuck, guys. If there's a capper that's always on, they might as well just crazy glue his name up on the leaderboards over at Sports Memo. Dr. Chuck is winning 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, multiple sports. I'm telling you right now, I bet 13 of his tennis plays. He's won all 13. But we're here to talk about football, and he's one of the sharpest minds in football. You don't believe me? Go check the leaderboards. You're going to see his name, 3-day, 7-day, 30-day. He is a winner. He also has his $2 Tuesday 5% play still available. Doc, just so we know again, when does that play go off?
It's an NFL play this weekend,
okay.
but yeah, it's not one of the games we discussed. So you'll have to check out that play.
Great stuff from Dr. Chuck. He's a winner. Follow him all the way to the bank, guys. I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with Dan Kaiser. He was my cellmate at San Quentin. No, I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with Dan Kaiser. He's before he came to Sports Memo, I knew of his reputation being a great handicapper, a winning capper, and one of the sharpest minds in sports betting. And I always talk about him on the First Family Show. By the way, it's our Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern show. I talk about him being one of the sharpest minds in college football. But very quietly, I don't know if you guys realize this, even Rocky or Dr. Chuck, over the last 30 days at Sports Memo, Dan Kaiser is the number one NFL capper at Sports Memo. And so, he's not a loud guy like I am, and he doesn't come out and tell you what he did, this, and that. He's actually very reserved. But he is one of the smartest minds in gambling. And I always talk about how smart he is with college football. But right now, 30 days, number one capper, NFL at Sports Memo. He's going to tell you what he's been doing. He's going to tell you what he's going to be doing on the premium side. And he's another free best bet for you. Dan Kaiser, it's all you. Take it away.
Thanks, Big Daddy. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, that was our present name for you. But okay. But yeah, as you said, Joe, number one last 30 days in the NFL, number 2 overall this season in the NFL. So yeah, that's been going really good. I've got a 10% play up for Monday Night Football. That's been up since Monday. I know there's some injury news in that game, but it wouldn't have affected my play either way. I got 5 plays up for tomorrow's college football slate, finalizing my NFL for Sunday, and I got 2 plays up for tonight's World Series that starts today. Yeah, my free pick. I mean, this game has a lot for me for a lot of different reasons. People know I'm from Michigan, and I usually rag on Detroit teams, and with good reason, because they all are inept. And this game is going to be a perfect example of that. You got the Miami Dolphins going against the Detroit Lions. If you go back to the 2020 draft, we had the number 3 draft pick, the Lions, and I was a big proponent for Tua, and instead we get Jeff Okudah, and this is the season he's actually playing decently. So my play on this game, I'm going with the over. I know Detroit has not played well the last couple of weeks, but they were a scoring machine the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Miami's defense is not great. They give up some points, and I'm hoping that Tua proves me right and tortures Jeff Okudah every chance he gets. I think Miami's just gonna, with Hill and Waddle. I think they're just going to score. They'll be able to do what they want through the air against the Lions. And the Lions' offense, Goff can get the job done occasionally. They do have some weapons. I think I see Miami getting the 30s easily, and Detroit should have no problem getting in the middle to high 20s. At the over under at 51.5, I think this game easily goes over the number.
Dan Kaiser, number one, last 30 days NFL. Sportsmemo says over 51.5 Dolphins Lions. Always a great betting insight analysis from Dan. He's got a great streetwise edge. Been doing this for a while, and I got to tell you guys, his numbers are as good or better than anybody's in the business. Thank you, Dan. Now, guys, I'm going to take the floor here. I'm excited. It's Friday afternoon. I've been winning all week, and I'm very excited. You better turn down the volumes. All right. Once again, this NBA season, Joe D leads the pack 7-2 premium releases in the NBA. $100 bettors are up $1,920 thus far, and I'm not done yet. That ranks me number one in the NBA at Sportsmemo. I have not one, not two, but three huge Friday NBA winners already posted. And guys, just because I'm winning, don't mean I'm going to price gouge. You know what I did? I put them in a 3-game discounted package. I want $20 parlay card bettors and 20 dime bettors to get a winner this Friday night. 3 big winners this Friday night for one low price. So you can go into the weekend and take advantage of all my weekend football winners. Having said that, I come off another big win in the NFL last night. The Ravens! Thank you, Ravens. By this afternoon, in a couple hours, I promise you I'll have 3 5% plays and a 10% play up for this weekend's football. As you know, I'm the best big game hunter on the planet. I'm going to hunt, stalk, and kill your book this weekend on the gridiron, college and pro football. My 5% play since joining Sportsmemo over a year and a half, 68%. And this year alone, 2022, my 10% plays, 16-2 in 2022. Get all my weekend winners in about an hour and a half to 2 hours from this show over at Sportsmemo. Now, my best bet, guys, I'm going to tell you now, I may be a Las Vegas resident for 32 years, but I'm going New York this week. And my friends, the worm has turned in the AFC East. For decades now, we have watched the New England Patriots reign supreme. And we have also watched the New York Jets. Basically, they've been a division doormat. While currently New England sits in last place in the division, New York has taken over second spot just behind Buffalo. After big road victories playing in tough places, very tough places like Lambeau and Mile High, the Jets return back to East Rutherford in front of a very loyal, very friendly home crowd. With the news that Mac Jones will be returning this week under center, the general public is playing New England. Guys, come on. I like Mac Jones. I think he has a bright future, but let's be honest. Guys, while the guy was healthy, he had 2 TDs and 6 INTs. And now he has to face a very stout New York D. You may not realize this, but the Jets are only yielding 19.6 a game, and they've also snagged, get this, 11 turnovers. This is remarkable. Gangrene is back, guys, and they are for real. I'm telling you right now, they ain't no posers. Guys, not just that, in my opinion, I really do feel Bill Belichick and his team has an enormous amount of pressure on them right now, a lot more pressure than Robert Saleh and his boys. Actually, if you think of it, New York has almost no pressure on them because nobody expected them to win at all. So every victory they get is just a bonus at this point. Think about that, guys. Very little pressure at home after winning big on the road. This is a really good situation for the Jets. Jets, Jets. Things are going to go from bad to worse for New England while New York gets another W here. The Patriots 0-4 ATS, the last 4 versus the FC East. The Jets 5-0 ATS, the last 5 when? In the month of October. The wrong team is favored here, but I'll still take the points with Gangrene to set in and take a big W this weekend in the NFL. Let me bring my whole panel on once again. And real quick, guys. Oh, how cute. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, my God. What a cutie. This panel just got a lot better looking and a lot cuter.
Yeah, right.
What a cutie. Guys, real quick, we'd like to throw out a special thanks to the Gold Sheet for those great stats and graphics you see, www.goldsheet.com. Use what the pros use. Let me go around the horn real quick. It was a quick show today. Get some closing thoughts and comments. Dan the Man Kaiser.
Yeah, World Series starts tonight, and good luck to everybody. And I guess from what you guys are saying earlier, I guess I need to start going after Rocky for the NFL.
Gotta love it. I love it, Dan. My good friend Rocky Atkinson. Rocky, closing thoughts and comments for our viewers.
Hey, just wishing everybody the best of luck this weekend. And follow these guys on the panel here. Dan, Red Hot, Dr. Chuck, just excellent in about everything. And, of course, Joe D is the man.
I love you, Rocky. I love you. I'm so glad you're a friend of mine. My good friend, Dr. Chuck. Doc, closing thoughts for our viewers.
Good luck, everybody. Go the Raiders!
I love her. God darn it. I got to tell you again, are you married?
No.
She said that emphatically. No. Well, we'll see. We'll talk after the show. You're too cute. My friends, don't forget to tune into all of Sportsmemo TV's amazing content. Hit that subscribe button to get a reminder. You don't want to miss any of our cappers, free winners, or betting insights. Thank you for tuning in, folks. Remember, increase your chances of making a profit. Follow the best collection of cappers anywhere on the planet here at Sportsmemo, because we don't go gambling, we go winning. On behalf of Sportsmemo, Rocky, Dan, the Dr. Chuck family, and me, Joe D'Amico, everyone out there,